Yo, what's going on, guys? It is time for another reaction video, and this one is coming from the YouTube channel Traditional Dishes. So if you like this video, make sure to go check out Traditional Dishes on YouTube. It is best food in New Zealand, delicious and traditional food in New Zealand. Let's get straight into it.
Delicious traditional food in New Zealand. New Zealand is world famous for its delicious meats, beautifully cut steaks, and its culinary standards. So, if you do make a trip to New Zealand, it will be incomplete until you try the traditional food in New Zealand. It's almost like going to Paris and not seeing the Eiffel Tower. Maori culture has played a big role in shaping the traditional palate of New Zealand, which is why kiwi, shellfish, and hangi food constitute a big part of the traditional food in New Zealand. Whether you want to be in seafood heaven, a magical land where the meat is so tender that it falls off the bone, or a place where kiwi burgers actually exist, check out our list for a diverse range of traditional food New Zealand has to offer.
All of this food looks delicious so far. And if they don't go into it in here in the video, tell me in the comments what a kiwi burger is. I'm curious to know.
1. The kiwi burger.
Here it is.
Despite what the name suggests, a kiwi burger has your basic toasted buns, between which lies a juicy beef patty, a fried egg, beetroot, and the regular stuff like tomato, lettuce, cheese, mustard, and ketchup. While this kiwi burger is made using both beetroot and fried eggs, it may not seem like it will excite your taste buds, but it is one of the most famous, locally loved, and traditional dishes of New Zealand.
If you had it without the egg, is it still just as good? And the reason I ask that is because I have an egg allergy, so I can't eat eggs. So even if you were to take the egg out, is it still just as tasty, or is it really missing out by not having the egg in it? Tell me in the comments.
If you happen to visit Auckland and you're craving a delicious kiwi burger in the wee hours of the morning, stop by the White Lady. It's a big white food truck, is almost impossible to miss. 2. Maori hangi food. Hangi was a very common method of cooking used by the Maori community thousands of years ago. Meats like pork, beef, lamb, sheep, and chicken were mixed with vegetables and placed in cloth sacks.
That looks really good. What is this a giant piece of bread, or what is this right here? If anybody knows what that is, tell me, because this looks like potatoes. This looks like maybe like a beef or something, maybe some sausage back there, and perhaps chicken. But what is this giant thing right here? Is it bread?
Baskets and aluminum foil. These baskets are then placed on top of hot stones at the bottom of a small pit, covered by a wet cloth and some mud to prevent any heat from escaping, left to cook for 3 to 4 hours and then taken out. The reason this method of hangi cooking is considered to be one of the best traditional foods in New Zealand is that the meat falls off the bone and melts in your mouth. Take a trip to the region of Rotorua to try this local and traditional delicacy. 3. Kina. Kina is a type of local sea urchin. Yes, you guessed it, it has a spiky exterior and some thin delicious meat inside. This local sea urchin has been a delicacy for centuries, making it one of the oldest traditional foods in New Zealand. If you have never had kina before, just think of it as a spiky oyster. Eat it raw, slurp it in, and enjoy the taste. A fun fact, the kina is also known as the hedgehog of the sea. But unlike most hedgehogs, it is easily available throughout New Zealand and can be bought at the local fish market. 4. Cheese and wine. If you're after award-winning wines and cheeses, look no further than New Zealand. We've got several world-class cheese-making companies, famous for blue cheese, delicious vintages, and creamy soft cheeses. Kapiti, Whitestone, and Poi Valley are some of the top brands to look out for.
So over my course of doing these reaction videos where I'm checking out the food and culture of a lot of these different countries, I'm beginning to realize that just about every country has their own wine and cheese that they are proud of and that they make. I already knew that wine was a huge industry worldwide, and cheese, but it's funny to see that these items continually make the top lists for just about any and every country. It seems to be like some of the most common items that I see over and over and over again. But it's kind of cool too to know that no matter where you are in the world, they're going to have their own local wine and cheese that they are very proud of.
In terms of wine, New Zealand punches above its weight. Enjoy full-body Pinot Noir, light and fruity Sauvignon Blanc and mouth-filling Merlot. 5. Pavlova. If you're a fan of MasterChef Australia, then you'll see how often pavlova is made on the show. But the best pavlova you're ever going to try is available on the streets of New Zealand. This dessert is named after the famous ballerina Anna Pavlova, and it is believed that this dessert was made in the honor of her dance. A pavlova is basically a meringue dessert which is topped with fruit and whipped cream. It's soft, light, crispy, creamy and fruity. Can a mouthful get tastier than that? 6. Whitebait fritters. Whitebait fritters are traditional and very local to New Zealand. If you take a liking for it, then whitebait fritters will definitely make it to your list of the best traditional foods in New Zealand. Whitebait is a term for immature fishes which are no longer than 1 to 2 inches in length.
Okay, I was wondering, I was like, I hope they explain what whitebait is, because I don't know what that is. So, immature fish, 1 to 2 inches.
Whitebait is a term for immature fishes which are no longer than 1 to 2 inches in length. Yes, you guessed it, whitebait fritters is the combination of fried whitebait and egg. This unique dish is usually served with bread and a wedge of lemon. If you're looking to try local food, this should be number 1 on your list. 7. Kumara. Kumara isn't just a sweet potato, it is an epic sweet potato. Kumara was brought to New Zealand by the early Maori settlers and still remain a favorite vegetable in New Zealand. The best way to try kumara is in a hongi, but there are heaps of ways you can incorporate kumara into your own cooking in your hostel.
Here in the US, I love sweet potato fries. It wasn't something that I really got into until, it's been a little while now, probably about 10 years ago that I started kind of really enjoying sweet potato fries. And so now if there's a place that has an option between regular fries and sweet potato fries, I quite often will try the sweet potato fries instead. And they also say that sweet potatoes are supposed to be healthier than regular potatoes. So if a kumara is essentially just another version of a sweet potato, then that would definitely be something I would be up for trying if I ever get to visit New Zealand.
Is in a hongi, but there are heaps of ways you can incorporate kumara into your own cooking in your hostel kitchen. Ask any traveler about food, this vegetable is probably New Zealand's most famous food. 8. New Zealand pie. New Zealanders take their pies very seriously. There's even an annual competition to find the very best in the country. The more traditional flavors include mince, steak and cheese, bacon and egg, and potato top. That being said, all gourmet pies from cafes and bakeries are worth trying. You might.
When they say mince, I know here in the U.S. that's what we refer to as ground beef. But so when you say mince, is it minced any kind of meat or is it minced beef? Tell me in the comments if it's a specific meat or if it's just a minced version of any kind of meat of your choosing.
That being said, all gourmet pies from cafes and bakeries are worth trying. You might even find vegetarian and vegan options in some places. 9. Roast lamb. Considering that New Zealand has more sheep in the country than people, it is no surprise that the lamb there is surprisingly cheap.
So Australia has more kangaroos than people, and they serve kangaroo. And New Zealand has more more lamb. Oh, sheep and lamb, same thing really. More sheep than people. So they're serving that. That's crazy.
More sheep in the country than people. It is no surprise that the lamb there is surprisingly cheap, and it is truly delicious. Typically, roasted lamb marinated in garlic and rosemary is traditional food in New Zealand, but even the lamb chops and lamb racks are worth a try. You will find tasty and succulent lamb at almost any restaurant you go to, so make sure you enjoy this tender meat at least once during your visit. The most famous lamb dish is the roast lamb served with some steamed vegetables. 10. The original flat white. Kiwi ingenuity brought the flat white to the coffee guzzling world.
That's a new one. I had no clue, and I actually quite enjoy a flat white when I have coffee. Well, I don't make a flat white here at home, but if I'm at a coffee shop, I'll often order a flat white. Didn't know it was from New Zealand though.
Original flat white. Kiwi ingenuity brought the flat white to the coffee guzzling world. Make sure to visit your nearby cafe to get a taste of the real thing. It'll be much better than the Starbucks version. Wellington punches well above its weight when it comes to coffee, and Auckland will give you your fill of great cafes too. But really, any local coffee shop will have trained their baristas to froth and brew everything to perfection.
Interesting. Lots of great food on there. Some of them I wouldn't really be up for just because I'm a slightly picky eater. I'd probably pass on the hedgehog of the sea. I'm not really big into seafood in general. And I definitely do not like oysters. So if it's essentially like similar to an oyster, that's a pass for me. But hey, if you love them, that's just more for you, right? If there is some other content, other videos from New Zealand I should check out, anything about the culture, music, top places to visit perhaps, anything and everything New Zealand, feel free to tell me in the comments below. If you've got a link to a video, it's even better. I want to keep learning more and more about New Zealand. If you are new here and you want to see more videos from me, make sure to subscribe. Click the bell so you'll get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It does help. And lastly, if you care to send me a postcard or letter, or if you even want to send me some snacks or treats to try, my mailing address is in the video description as well as the About Me section of my YouTube. I do want to eventually collect enough food items from around the world to start doing some fun videos of me getting to taste some food from some other places. So if that's something you're into, hey, I'd be happy to accept it. But by no means am I asking people to do it against their will. So, hey, if you want to send it, I'll take it. With that being said, let's wrap it up here, and I will see you in the next one. Later.